We're taking a deep dive today into, well, a pretty fascinating question, actually. Is there maybe a foundational key, like a universal solution that unlocks understanding and addresses a whole range of life's really deep challenges? Our source material for this exploration is this really intriguing collection of dialogues from ancient Buddhist scriptures, specifically the Sāmaṇḍakānisaṃyuttaṃ, which you've shared with us.
Yeah, and what's truly compelling about this ancient text, is how consistently it points to just one single profound path as the answer for multiple quite profound questions.
Right.
And these aren't just abstract theories. They're a series of direct kind of Q&A style exchanges. They happened between the venerable Sāriputta and this wanderer named Sāmaṇḍakāni.
And where do they happen?
Quite literally on the bank of the Goggle River.
Yeah.
So our mission in this deep dive is really to pull out the most important nuggets for you, show how this one solution addresses everything from suffering right through to ultimate liberation.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. The very first question Sāmaṇḍakāni asks is about Nibbāna. It's a term many people have heard, but maybe don't fully grasp. What is it, according to Sāriputta here?
Well, Sāriputta's definition is remarkably direct. It's kind of devoid of mysticism, really. He says it's simply the ending of passion, aversion, and delusion. Raga, dosa, moha.
Passion, aversion, delusion.
Okay. And immediately after that, Sāmaṇḍakāni asks, well, how do you get there? What's the path to realize this ending?
And here's where it starts getting really interesting. Sāriputta's answer for how to achieve Nibbāna, and as we'll see, for so much more, it's always the same. He points directly to the Noble Eightfold Path. Maybe just a quick refresher for everyone listening.
Good idea.
So the 8 parts are right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration.
Yeah, samadhi, samaskapo, and so on. And Sāmaṇḍakāni's immediate response to this, it's quite telling. He says, excellent indeed, friend, is the path. Excellent is the practice.
So he acknowledges both the path itself and the need to practice it.
Exactly. And then he adds this really significant closing remark. And it is enough, friend Sāriputta, for earnestness, appamada.
Earnestness. So diligence, effort.
Precisely. It really emphasizes that just knowing the path isn't enough. You've got to apply it diligently.
What's fascinating then is how this consistency, it isn't just a one-off thing, right? It seems like Sāriputta gives this exact same answer even when asked about other major spiritual goals.
That's right. The pattern repeats almost immediately.
So Sāmaṇḍakāni then asks about Arahantship, another, pinnacle of spiritual perfection. And the answer for what Arahantship is and the path to achieve it, it's identical again.
Identical. It's defined as the ending of passion, aversion, and delusion. And how do you get there?
Yeah.
Through the Noble Eightfold Path.
Wow.
It really suggests this deeply unified understanding of the goal and the method.
So the dialogue then seems to broaden out a bit. It asks how these principles show up, like in people's actions and identities.
Yeah, Sāmaṇḍakāni asks, who in the world are the speakers of Dhamma? Who are the well-practiced? Who are the well-gone? Who embodies these qualities?
And Sāriputta gives definitions again.
Yes, and again, they're quite precise. The speakers of Dhamma are those who teach the Dhamma for the abandonment of passion, aversion, and delusion.
Okay, so the purpose of their teaching is key.
Right. Then the well-practiced are those who are actually practicing for that same abandonment.
Makes sense. People doing the work.
Exactly. And finally, the well-gone, the sugata, are those whose passion, aversion, and delusion are completely gone. Abandoned, uprooted, like a palm stump, he says. Brought to non-existence, no longer subject to arising again.
That's a very final state.
It is. And, as you might guess...
Let me guess. The path to achieving these states, whether teaching, practicing, or being fully liberated,
is again the Noble Eightfold Path.
It really does underscore its central role, doesn't it? For both understanding and embodying the teachings.
Absolutely. Which naturally leads to the next question, really. Why? Why undertake this whole spiritual discipline in the first place?
Right. Sāmaṇḍakāni asks about the purpose of the holy life, the brahmacharya, in Gautama's discipline.
It connects the individual journey to the bigger picture.
And Sāriputta's answer.
Direct and profound. For the full understanding of suffering. Dukkha.
It's a full understanding of suffering.
Yeah.
And the path to get that understanding.
No surprise here. The Noble Eightfold Path.
Okay. And then the dialogue seems to go even further, talking about different levels of relief or assuagement.
Yes, exactly. The text makes a distinction between someone who has reached assuagement, assasapato, and someone who has reached supreme assuagement, paramasasapato.
So 2 levels, what's the difference?
Well, a monk who has reached assuagement is defined as one who truly understands the nuts and bolts, you could say. The origin, the cessation, the danger, and the escape concerning the 6 sense spaces: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind.
So understanding the mechanics of experience.
Kind of, yeah. But reached supreme assuagement goes a critical step further. It's a bhikkhu, an ordained person, who not only understands all that, but is also liberated without clinging. That lack of clinging is the key difference.
Liberation without clinging. And the path to both of these levels.
Still the Noble Eightfold Path.
It really is starting to feel like a universal master key, isn't it? Applicable across all these different stages.
It really is. And this master key principle, it extends even further. The dialogues then really dive into some deeper psychological and existential concepts.
Okay.
And they show how the Noble Eightfold Path is the consistent way to either fully understand these things or to abandon them. It highlights just how far-reaching this path is meant to be.
So give us an example. Like, what about feelings,
Right, Vedana. So the 3 types: pleasant, unpleasant, and neither pleasant nor unpleasant. The path isn't about getting rid of feelings, but for their full understanding.
So understanding their nature, not suppressing them.
Exactly. But then for things like the defilements, the āsavas, things like sensual desire, the desire for becoming or existence, ignorance, the paths presented as the means for their abandonment.
Abandonment. Okay, that's different.
Yeah, and same for ignorance itself, avijjā, specifically ignorance about suffering, its origin, its end, and the path. That's for abandonment via the Eightfold Path.
And craving.
Also for abandonment, whether it's craving for sensual pleasures, craving for existence, or even craving for non-existence. The path is the way to let go of that.
It's really quite compelling how many of these deep-seated human patterns and obstacles are tackled by this one approach.
It is, and there's more. The floods, the ogas, these are types of bondage, like sensual desire, becoming, wrong views, ignorance again. They're also for abandonment through the path.
Floods, like things that sweep us away.
Kind of, yeah. And clinging, upadana, clinging to sensual pleasures, clinging to views, clinging to rituals, or even clinging to the idea of a fixed self, all for abandonment.
Okay, so a lot of abandonment. What about understanding again?
Yes, for the more profound aspects, it shifts back to understanding. Things like becoming, bhava, the whole process through which we, come into being and continue existing. That's for full understanding.
Understanding the process itself.
Right. Or suffering, dukkha. Explored not just as physical pain, but, the inherent unsatisfactoriness of conditioned existence, the suffering tied to change, the stress of just things being temporary. That's for full understanding.
And even the idea of self.
Yes. The self-identity view, sakkadaya, defined here as the 5 aggregates we cling to form: feeling, perception, mental formations, consciousness. Believing that's a solid me. That whole concept is for full understanding through the Noble Eightfold Path.
It's really remarkable, isn't it? Whether you're talking about feelings, craving, ignorance, or the self, this one single path is consistently the way. To understand or to abandon, it's not like a different tool for every job.
Not at all. It's presented as this single holistic framework, which, naturally leads to a very practical question.
Yeah.
After exploring all these deep insights, the dialogue shifts in a section called the Dukkha Sutta. Sāmaṇḍakāni asks about the difficulties.
Okay. Is this path easy? I mean, it sounds comprehensive, but is it doable?
A very reasonable question. And what's Sāriputta's take on the challenges?
Does he acknowledge them?
Oh, yes. He identifies 3 levels of difficulty. First, just ordination itself, pabajja, becoming a monk or nun. That's difficult.
Okay, taking the first step is hard.
Then finding delight, apirati, as an ordained person, meaning, staying committed, finding joy and satisfaction in that demanding lifestyle. That's also difficult.
Sticking with it is hard, too.
And third, actually practicing the Dhamma in accordance with the Dhamma, the Mamanukama Pipati, as someone who's committed to the practice. That is also difficult.
So basically, the whole journey from starting out to really practicing deeply presents challenges.
That seems to be the message. But here's where it gets really fascinating.
Oh.
The follow-up question, given all these acknowledged difficulties, Sāmaṇḍakāni asks, okay, how long would it actually take for a bhikkhu, someone practicing properly, to become an arahant?
Right. After saying it's hard, how long does the hard work take?
And Sāriputta's answer is incredibly simple and striking. He just says, not long, friend. Nasiravuso.
Not long, seriously, actually listing all the difficulties.
Exactly. It's a powerful statement. It suggests that while difficult, the path, when properly undertaken, yields results relatively quickly.
Wow, that's unexpected.
And guess how Sāmaṇḍakāni responds?
Let me guess. Something about earnestness.
You got it. Once again, he concludes with that powerful recurring phrase, and it is enough, friend Sāriputta, for earnestness. Appamada.
So it comes back to that again. Effort, diligence.
It really underscores that, yes, the journey has its difficulties, undeniable ones, but diligent, heedful, consistent application of the path, that earnestness is the ultimate key, and it makes the seemingly long journey potentially quite swift. It really brings us back to the power of committed practice.
So what does all this mean for you listening right now? Our deep dive into this Sāmaṇḍakānisaṃyuttaṃ, it reveals this truly elegant, incredibly consistent framework for this huge range of life's deepest questions, from understanding suffering to finding liberation, from untangling ignorance to letting go of craving. The same precise, actionable path is offered again and again, the Noble Eightfold Path.
Yeah, and it's presented not just as some philosophy to think about, right? But as a practical, hands-on method for real, profound transformation.
Exactly.
And if we kind of zoom out and connect this to the bigger picture, it really suggests a profound interconnectedness between problems that might seem separate on the surface, within our own experience. Well, the solution isn't like, tweak this for anxiety, do that for anger, try this other thing for confusion. It suggests there's a single, comprehensive way of living, of training the mind, that gets at the roots of many of these issues all at once.
A unified approach to inner well-being.
Something like that. Which I think raises a really important question for you, the listener.
Okay, leave us with a final thought then.
Well,
if a single, well-defined path, this Noble Eightfold Path, can really serve as a kind of universal solution for so many fundamental aspects of our existence and our inner struggles, what might that imply about the simplicity, perhaps, but also the sheer power of focused, consistent practice in your own life?